Hello, welcome back to the podcast. This is episode 79. Let's talk about whether the wellness industry is actually saturated, and especially given that you're probably scrolling through your Instagram feed and feeling like it really is, feeling like it is very noisy, feeling like it's becoming increasingly challenging to stand out. And from a marketing perspective, some of that is true. It is becoming more difficult to stand out, but not if you have a clear strategy for how to do so. The first thing is moving through some of the self-doubt that comes up when you are scrolling through social media, which, in itself is not a very helpful habit to indulge in. That mindless scrolling where we're slipping into comparison. And I did a whole other episode on comparison and how to turn it into a superpower. But that mindless scrolling does sometimes make you feel like the industry is saturated. So from somebody who has built a very successful business looking at the business of wellness and well-to-do, which we sold 2 years ago, and who has helped hundreds of wellness experts to learn how to stand out, to create compelling offers that actually sell, to learn how to master the marketing side of things, rest assured that in this episode you are in safe hands. So yes, it feels noisy and your Instagram feed is showing you, every other expert in your field that is doing what you want to do. And that is frankly how the algorithm works. That is how it is supposed to work. And so know that you are in a bit of a silo when it comes to your social media content, and that my husband's social media looks very different to mine because he's interested in, fast cars and things with wheels and bikes, and that's what his feed looks like. My feed is full of wellness practitioners and, mummy content and holiday content and things that I'm interested in. So your content will be showing you other experts in your field. And you can either learn from them or you can let that mean something for you, which typically translates as there's already somebody doing what I want to do, therefore there's no space for me. But what if we thought about that differently? And let's talk about that in this episode to really help you to break through some of those feelings of self-doubt that are ultimately holding you back from taking more meaningful action in your business and being a creator of content and value rather than just a consumer. In this episode, I want to help you to focus on three specific things, three really important things when it comes to self-doubt and that feeling of wondering whether you're going to make it, whether there is space for you, whether there is a possibility for you to be successful. So let's talk about what to do when it feels like or it seems like everybody around you either is doing what you want to do or knows more than you do or has more experience than you do or, they know what they're doing in their business. They seem to be getting clients. They seem to have something that's working with more traction than what you do right now. Let's talk about what to do in that scenario. Let's talk about the role of data and statistics in helping you to move past self-doubt and to move past that feeling of, is there space for me? Is there an opportunity for me? Let's talk about how to find power in the tendency that we all have, frankly, we all have the tendency of comparing ourselves and feeling inferior at times. Frankly, when we were born, we were helpless little creatures. And, so we grew up into adults who at times feel like we are not in control of our lives, and yet we have more control than we truly think sometimes. How do we turn that tendency that we have towards comparison into a strength and a superpower in our business? And finally, what is the big opportunity that is right in front of you right now? So here are the three things that I want you to focus on when you feel like the industry is saturated, when you feel like there isn't space for you. The first thing is this: the problem that you solve for your clients or that you hope to solve for your clients still exists. Okay, despite all of the competitors that you see online, despite all of the other people doing the work that you want to do, the problem still exists. And the best way to remind yourself of this truth, because I'm not making it up, is to look at the real data and statistics about the problem that you solve. So if, for example, you help people who have been diagnosed with prediabetes to reverse that diagnosis, and you're feeling like, oh gosh, but there's already, 3 or 4 real leaders in this space and there's no room for me. And, is there any point to doing this work? The best thing for you to do is to stop that comparison in its tracks by literally going on to Google and Googling the current statistics around prediabetes. And if there are, as I assume to be true, because I have a client who actually works in this space, I've got a few clients who work in this space, there will be millions upon millions of people worldwide who are suffering with prediabetes. And the same will be true of whatever those set of symptoms are that you help your clients with, whether that's anxiety, fear, doubt, uncertainty, whether it's lack of energy, whether it's, specific symptoms like PCOS or, any number of things that you help your clients with. There will be statistics attached to that. And once you have those statistics, what I want you to do is write them on a Post-it note and stick them somewhere where you can see them every day, so that you can be constantly reminded that despite all of the competitors that exist in your field, despite all of the other experts sharing their expertise online, the problem that you solve or that you desire to solve for your ideal client still exists. And by the very nature of it still existing, there exists an opportunity for you to help solve it. And here's the reality. Different people want to work with different experts. So yes, there will be experts who are further ahead than you or have a bigger audience. But, there is also a perception from consumers that somebody with a bigger audience or who has been doing it for a longer amount of time might cost more, might not offer the level of personalized support that somebody who is earlier on in their business with a smaller audience might offer. So there are lots of perceived benefits that a consumer might have of you being somebody who is earlier on in your business. Right? So bigger and better and glossier and more followers and more established is not always what a consumer wants. Your ideal client might be somebody who wants to feel more connected with their expert. And so that doubt that you have that I don't have as much established following or audience or whatever else as somebody else solving this problem, so therefore everyone's going to go to them, is simply a perception that you have created for yourself, and that if you can flip, will open up the floodgates of opportunity that exist for you to be somebody who is in the arena, who is partaking in this process of solving and dismantling the problem that you desire to be affixed to. So Google those symptoms, find out what those statistics are, and remind yourself of them every day. Attach that to your vision. This is why I do what I do. And regardless of whoever else is going to do this, I'm going to do it anyway. And that is the mindset of a profitable wellness expert. I'm doing this work anyway. I don't care who else does it, what they do, how they do it. I'm not threatened by competition. There is enough for all of us. There are enough people, struggling with or suffering from these symptoms. So the fact that, there are other people solving it, but the problem still exists, is proof that there is space for you. Here's the second thing that I want you to focus on. So the fact that there are other successful experts in your field is rock solid, irrefutable proof that it is possible for you as well. Regardless of maybe any privilege or additional training or expertise that they may have, if your mindset is, when you look at competitors, that they, are taking the market share or that they own the whole pie and that there's not space for you, and you don't yet have that mindset that it is proof, that it is showing you what's possible, then this could be the most empowered belief shift that you make listening to this episode. Okay, instead of looking at those who are further ahead of you and seeing them as evidence that there isn't space for you, your job is to translate that observation that there is somebody doing this work into a belief that it is therefore possible for you as well. They are showing you what's possible. They are showing you that there is a sure path to success. And it might look slightly differently because things like social media and digital marketing and so on change over time. But it shows you that the possibility exists for you. And that is such an important belief to carry into your business. Instead of focusing on the feelings of self-doubt when you see somebody else who is successful, you translate that into a feeling of possibility, of permission, a permission slip. You can express gratitude towards that person directly or indirectly, consciously or unconsciously, in your journal or out loud. Thank you for showing me that this is possible for me as well. Thank you for showing me that I too can start from zero and become an expert that is respected in my field. Thank you for showing me that every expert started out as a beginner. Thank you for showing me that building something successful in this space is possible. Okay? The third thing that I'd love for you to focus on is this. The wellness industry is one of the fastest growing industries in the world right now. And how do I know this? It's because it is the hot topic of conversation in every popular podcast, every popular newsroom, every popular morning show, every mainstream tabloid, newspaper, magazine. Well-being is the hot topic of the moment. It is the flavor of the month, but it has been for the last 5 or 6 years. You know, I built an industry insights publication online, an editorial platform called Well To Do. And I started it 10 years ago when nobody even knew what, coconut water or ashwagandha and yerba mate actually even were. And now turmeric lattes are on mainstream cafe menus and people know what meditation and mindfulness is. And this is general mainstream conversation now. It is a huge business because there is a greater level of awareness, and certainly post-pandemic, attitudes have played into this. There's a greater level of awareness about our own contributing role in our personal well-being. Individuals, consumers like you and I, and like our relatives and friends and family and colleagues, are becoming more hyper aware that they play a role in their own health. They play a role outside of their genetic dispositions or predispositions, that our environment, our choices, the way that we think about our nutrition and diet and lifestyle affect our future health outcomes. And with this power and knowledge and insight comes a greater demand for experts to guide us on the journey. Because remember, your clients aren't paying you for information that's readily available on the internet. There's lots of information about health and well-being. They want to pay you for implementation. And so with the wellness industry growing and thriving and nowhere near saturation, you are primed to be somebody who guides consumers on that journey of transformation through implementing knowledge and insight and practical tools for change and transformation. You are in the arena. You already have a head start. You're doing this. You're doing this regardless of what others are doing, as I said before. But knowing that the wellness industry is growing, thriving, one of the fastest growing industries in the world, is evidence that this is exactly where you need to be. Does it mean that it's not challenging to stand out? No, it is challenging to stand out. And that is where you need guidance, understanding, strategy for yourself in your own business on how to understand the rules of marketing, the rules of messaging, how to create compelling offers that actually sell. This is all the stuff that I teach inside my coaching communities, Consistent Clients, and our higher level program, Elite Expert. And as always, if you want to find out more about how to get that support and insight to understand how to master the business side of things alongside your passion and expertise and qualifications as an expert, reach out to me on Instagram. Whenever you're ready, DM me the word expert. And I'm always up for a conversation about your unique situation and how I can potentially help you to get to the next level, to build a profitable business online as a wellness expert. So those 3 things to help you to move through that self-doubt. Look at the raw data. Look at the statistics. Know that the problem that you want to solve still exists regardless of competition. Know that the fact that there are other successful experts in your field of expertise is proof that it's possible for you too. And know that the wellness industry is growing, that it's one of the most buoyant, exciting, trending, hot topic industries in the world right now. And you are primed to leverage that amazing goldmine of opportunity and to support, to change people's lives, and that you're only ever a few strategies or few mindset shifts away from changing hundreds, thousands, even millions of people's lives. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I'll look forward to catching you in the next one.